Alrighty, let's continue talking about the modified PlayStation Mini. Now we're going to talk about the games that start with S, as in Steve. Starting with, based off the 2000 direct-to-video Scooby-Doo film, this is Scooby-Doo and a Cyber Chase, released by THQ in 2001, and it's based off the direct-to-video Scooby-Doo film. And where the player controls both Shaggy and Scooby in different levels in the cyber world. And I think the voice actors reprise their roles as the characters from the show and the movie. And did you all know that Frank Welker has been voicing Fred Jones since this very start of the Scooby-Doo franchise, which is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And that's a little trivia for all of you. So we get to move on now and before we move on to the next, before we move on to the next game, did you all know that in Rival Schools, the guy who voices Batsu in Rival Schools is also the voice of Adult Link in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, who later on reprises his role in Super Smash Bros. 64 and Super Smash Bros. Melee. And I think also in Soul Calibur 2, the Nintendo GameCube version, since Link made a cameo appearance in the game. So, back to the games that start with S, as in Steve. Starting and continuing with, this is Sensible Soccer, released by GT Interactive in '99. And this is another soccer game for the PlayStation. And did you all know that in the previous videos, I mentioned that I played soccer, but not for the school though. Okay, moving on now to, I think this is a pirate game. This is Shadow Madness by Crave Entertainment in 1999. And I think this is a pirate game, and to me, this game doesn't ring a bell to me since I focus more on the Nintendo 64 more than the PlayStation. Back when I was a kid, I used to I got the first PlayStation console in 1999 for my 9th birthday. 98. And the first game I played for the first PlayStation console was Spyro the Dragon. One of my favorite games. I'm surprised Spyro is not on the list. Okay, back to Shadow Madness. This is a pirate game, so I might have to try this one day. Next up, we have another pirate game. This is Shipwreckers, released in 1997. And again, this is a pirate game, so never played this game. It's one of the earlier PlayStation 1 titles since it came out in 1997. So it's one of the earlier titles. So I might have to give this game a try one day, along with Shadow Madness. Okay, moving on now to, this is Silent Bomber, released in 2000 by Bandai. And I think this is a fighting game, so I can't tell if this is a fighting game or not, since the first PlayStation console did have a lot of 3D fighting games like Tekken. Tekken was most notable, so I've never played this game before, and I think this might be a fighting game, so I'm going to have to give this one a try one day. Okay, moving on now to, based off the 1998 film, this is Small Soldiers. And it's one of my, I don't think it's one of my favorite films, but this is almost like Toy Story. Because, in Toy Story, that's the movie where toys come to life when adults are absent. So, back to Small Soldiers. It's like Toy Story, but with toy soldiers in that movie. Released by Electronic Arts in 1998, so the same year the movie came out. So I'm going to have to give this one a try one day. Next up we have, this is one of the later PS1 titles. This is Sonicwings Special, not to mention Sonic the Hedgehog, the fast-running blue hedgehog from Sega, released by Phoenix Games in 2004. And I think this game only came out in Europe, since I think this is a PAL region. Oh, and not to mention Sonic the Hedgehog, since there are no Sonic the Hedgehog games for the PlayStation. Well, the first PlayStation, that is. So, moving on now to, this is South Park, Chef's Love Shack, rated M for mature, just like Duke Nukem and Mortal Kombat, released by Acclaim in 1999. And this is like a a trivia video game with South Park characters. Well, you only play as Cartman, Kyle, Stan, and Kenny. So, and there are only 3 South Park video games for the PlayStation, and the Nintendo 64. There's the original called South Park, which is a first-person game. South Park Rally, which is like Mario Kart, but a crappy one. And South Park Chef's Love Shack. I'm not sure if this is a decent game, so I've never played this game before. Oh, and also, did you know back when I was a kid, my mother solemnly forbade me to watch South Park because that show did have a lot of potty mouths. So, okay, and now we move on to, this is another flight simulator game released by Electronic Arts and one of the earlier PS1 titles since it came out in '96. This is Soviet Strike. And this is another flight simulator game. So, never played this game before, and it's one of the earlier titles, so I'm going to have to give this one a try one day. Next up we have the same name as the arcade game from 1978, back when video games started to exist in the world, starting with Pong. Oh, and the Magnavox Odyssey. This is Space Invaders, released by Activision in 1999. And I think this is a 3D remake of the arcade game Space Invaders. So I've never played this one, so I'm going to have to try this one. Next up we have Spider, the video game, not to mention SpiderMan, released by Take-Two Interactive in 1997. And it's one of the earlier PS1 titles. Never played this one, so I'm going to have to try this one. Oh, and next up we have, this is Spongebob Squarepants in SuperSponge, released by THQ in 2001. And I remember renting this from Blockbuster a couple times, and it's a side-scroller, like Super Mario Brothers. So, there you go. Okay, next up we have Star Wars Demolition, 2000 by LucasArts. And I think this game is like Twisted Metal with Star Wars characters in it. So, I'm going to have to try this one since I never played this game before. Sorry, I had a little allergy attack. So, okay, next up we have, this is Street Fighter the movie, based off the 1994 Street Fighter live-action film, released by, it's by Acclaim and developed by Capcom. And usually Capcom publishes the Street Fighter games. And this is a crappy Street Fighter game since it rips off Mortal Kombat, released in 95. So, it's a crappy game. Wouldn't recommend it. Okay, next up we have, recommended for Street Fighter fans like me, Street Fighter Collection 2 in 1998, and it has 3 classic Street Fighter games in one, the Road Warrior, Champion Edition, and Turbo. And I played this game, and I played some of the Street Fighter 2 games recently on the Nintendo Switch, part of the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. So, it's and this one, not recommended for Street Fighter fans. Okay, next up we have, this is Street Skater, released by Electronic Arts in 1999, and I think this is like 2 Extreme and 3 Extreme. So, and it's like I'm not sure though. I tried this game a couple times, so not into it, I don't think. And next up we have its sequel, released by the same company, released in 2000. This is Street Skater 2. So, and again, this is the same game. I think it's like 2 Extreme and 3 Extreme. So, okay, and I'm running out of time. Okay, so this is Strider, released by Capcom. You guessed it, in 2000. So, and I think this is like a side-scroller just like the arcade. I'm not sure, though. I don't know if it's 3D or not, so I'm going to have to try this one. Okay, we have the sequel. This is Strider 2. This is a sequel to the first Strider game for the arcade and also console ports like the NES. Released it by, you guessed it, Capcom in 2000. So I'm gonna have to, and I've heard of the character before when I played Marvel vs. Capcom on the Sega Dreamcast back when I was a kid. And as you may know, the next game, originally it had the first Syphon Filter game. And this is the third game, released in 2001, one of the later PS1 titles. So I'm going to have to give this one a game. And it's also rated M. And back when I was a kid, my mother forbade me to play games that are rated M for mature. So, and sorry about that. I'm running out of time because I have to charge up my phone because the battery is dying in it. So, see y'all next time.